Working with students is our life's work. We've all chosen to invest in the profession of teaching children and preparing them for life. Life beyond school, life beyond college. It is our mission as educators to equip students with skills essential to working and living in their futures. Always learning represents our motto for who we are and who we want to be as we move forward. Think of this as our brand. This past year's graduation rate, although with room for improvement, is our highest in 7 years, and we're going to continue to move forward. We want to ask ourselves, are we inspiring innovation through modern learning? And how are we building on our past accomplishments? Our use of technology tools has evolved over time to correlate with different types of instruction. Traditional chalkboards were utilized to deliver information to students with overhead projectors as the latest and greatest following. For a long time, pencil and textbooks were the main modalities teachers and students used to gain knowledge and learn and practice. In 2005, Churchill County School District got the first 5 smartboards in the district that were placed at Lahontan Valley High School. The following year, 10 smartboards were placed at West End, and eventually in almost every classroom. In 2016, we began an update of tools for learning with the purchase of Promethean boards and Chromebooks. The addition of Chromebooks is not only meant for teachers, but also for students for collaboration, learning, and presenting their authentic creations. In 2020, we've worked to ensure that all of our students have internet connectivity at home as well as a device. The evolution of technology in classrooms is a tiny window to the world beyond school. If one examines education and its purpose, we begin to see the impact and vital role education serves. Historically, school's purpose served the nation to meet the needs of its society, which in turn contributed to the American prosperity. Thinking back just 100 years ago in 1918 in the industrial age, this was in general the environment that we see here in most of the spaces, but also in schools. Notice the organization of people and space, rows, columns, people working in isolation, completing rote tasks. Employees needed to know basic skills, and our classrooms mirrored the workforce, rows, columns, students working on basic tasks in isolation. But as we move forward, we can see that our changing society has created a need for us to think differently. Today, people work in teams. They collaborate to solve problems, think critically, and formulate new ideas. Workspaces look different as well. Some people connect virtually, while others work in non-traditional, flexible spaces. The work of the future will be more than just a place to work. Valuable skills such as novel and adaptive thinking, social intelligence, and understanding emotional intelligence are all projected to be highly demanded skills of the future. Flexible minds, flexible spaces, and flexible time are becoming the new normal of the workplace. Have our schools evolved to mirror the life beyond school, beyond college, that our students will live and work? Have we moved forward to adjust our practices to prepare our students for the evolving future? Education of our students has paralleled society's asks. Traditional classrooms with direct instruction from teachers using predominantly paper and pencil to gain knowledge and practice was the structure brought by the needs of the workforce and the limits of the resources and materials. Today, we work in collaborative groups in a blend of paper, pencil, and technology use. And we're seeing emerging teaching and learning methods and practices that support the needs of the future. But where do we go from here? As we continue our life's mission of preparing students with the skills essential to work and live in their futures, what does society ask? How can we meet the demand of a complex, fast-moving, interconnected, interdependent, predictable while unpredictable world students work and live? We must think about how to be flexible, how to be personalized, and how to ensure that what we do every day with our learners matters. The profile of a learner is exactly the place that we must start. We've talked about this now for several years, and I'm always appreciative when I go into classrooms and I see the teacher being the lead learner and demonstrating the characteristics of the profile. This is a profile that must continue to evolve as the needs of society evolve around us. But these 6 attributes of critical thinking, inspired innovation, collaborative learning, effective communicating, globally aware, and lifelong learning must be at the center of all that we do. So we have a theory of action that we want to make sure that everyone is aware of. This is basically a compilation of our strategic plan that we've shared over the last year and a half with all of you and engaged all of our work and focus moving forward. Our first goal of the plan is to be life ready, because if we design and implement a learner-centered approach to education with personalized competency-based opportunities, then individuals will demonstrate these traits, these competencies, these skills and attributes of the profile of a learner and realize increased achievement. In addition, when we begin to focus on the individual and the whole individual, we will start to see that individuals exhibit the traits of this profile of a learner, leading to a healthy and rewarding life. With partnerships, if we build partnerships with colleagues, students, parents, and community members, we increase our trust, our support, and our parent and community engagement. And finally, if we take part in focused professional growth and implement sound practices, strategies, and platforms, then we will create learning environments that are mutually enriching, productive, and successful for all. The theory of action, as I said, is a compilation of that work that we have been sharing and will continue to share with all of you and see embedded in the work you're doing at the site level. Next, we have been moving with Modern Teacher to ensure that our instructional model meets the expectations of our strategic plan Goal 1. This includes a learner-centered focus, a modern school culture, deliberate learning opportunities, and competency-based assessment. This will become the driver moving forward with our learner-centered framework. A learner-centered focus will help us continue to work through self-advocacy and learner agency, which all of you know is a critical and probably the most important element of moving us forward and moving kids forward. It will drive our learning pathways, and it will ensure that we have a personalized, responsive, and learning forward environment. The modern school culture allows for us to build that critical, positive, and supporting relationship with each and every student, each and every colleague, from building to building and from the building level to the district level and to the board. It will ensure a growth mindset. It will nurture the learner and will support our use of positive behavioral interventions and supports. Deliberate learning opportunities will focus from the learner-centered framework and will ensure that the things that we do with learners every day are varied, frequent, authentic, and informing. They will be connected to student-centered mastery or competency-based learning, and the data will drive us. Finally, the competency-based assessment system will ensure that the work that we're doing through the learner-centered framework is evident, that it's rigorous and relevant, that it's leading to life-ready skills and traits, and providing flexible learning choices. In addition to the instructional model, as you all work through the learner-centered framework, you have been using various depths of knowledge or rigor to understand what kinds of tasks you're providing for students. In the rigor framework that's been designed, we utilized the Webb's depth of knowledge that was used with the implementation specialists in their boot camp several summers ago, which outlines learner expectations for skills students are expected to know and be able to do, in this case using a 4-point proficiency scale. In addition, in the framework, we will have student answer strategies, which is the way that students respond to their learning and answer in ways that make sense to them. We also provide question stems and activity prompts, allowing for thoughtful dialogue and meaning making as students make connections. Finally, it provides a learner-centered task list that gives students voice and choice in how they demonstrate their learning at their pace. We have level 1, which is a low cognitive demand that does cover recall, and not deep explanation. As we move through the model, you can see that we begin to engage in a higher cognitive load. It takes the brain more power to do the tasks that are being asked. The level 3, in most instances, will equate to the level of proficiency or mastery that we are looking for to provide the learner with the feedback that he or she is on track. It engages students to think deeply and express how they take what they learned and how they can apply it. And the last element is the highest level, which takes and encourages students to think critically and creatively and ask them to transfer, reimagine, reuse, repurpose learning for another purpose. We also want to share with you the work we have created to date in the Churchill County School District Common Language Glossary. We felt it important to ensure that we had a one-stop shop, common language, common vocabulary environment for everyone, from internal stakeholders to external stakeholders, to understand what we were speaking about at any given time. This common glossary covers things from our Learner Center framework, it covers things from our work with Modern Teacher, and it covers work that we've done with MTSS, the Multi-Tiered System of Support, and PBIS, the Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. We are also employing implementation specialists who, according to Modern Teacher, may also be called accelerated classroom teachers. We held discussions with building leaders prior to the implementation of this process to develop what type of characteristics would be needed for an implementation specialist. Teachers were selected based on skills, competencies, and interests, and we currently have 21 teachers who are in either the first or the follow-up cohorts to working as implementation specialists. As we think about our professional learning opportunities, one thing is clear. We have to continue to personalize and mold the professional development to each and every one of you as teachers. Implementation specialists do assist with learner-centered framework design and implementation. The Office of Learning and Innovation is always ready to help with ongoing professional learning in small snippets, in small groups, individually, or even a bit larger group. Our professional learning communities create continuous collaborative learning structures for staff. We know that for some of the changes in the professional learning communities may have not come as a positive. But ultimately, when we are able to articulate the skills and competencies as well as the performance, that will drive our instruction and increased achievement for our students. The Modern Teacher platform provides an opportunity for a wealth of knowledge in modernization of learning and provides for a self-paced opportunity for staff. The district leadership team participates in shared celebrations and progress reports together, as well as with staff. So as we close, we must think about meeting the needs of students. That requires us to think big, but start small. This is an approach that requires teamwork and decisions based on what's best for students. The more you're willing to participate, the more your voice is heard, and we ensure that collectively we are doing what's right for kids. More information will continue to be shared about exciting opportunities that help grow our program and our process with the Modern Teacher platform to become a modernized, personalized system for our community.